Law expert, Professor Pierre De Vos. Professor, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of the judgment? Was it something expected?
Yes, I think it was expected. Maybe the only thing that we were not that sure about was the remedy. And as you heard from Mr. Nxasana, the court was split on that, whether he should just go back to his job or whether they were going to say that he shouldn't go back to his job and the president should appoint a new National Director of Public Prosecutions. But the judgment is very important because it again reaffirmed the independence of the NPA and basically found that the president had used money, the former president had used money to try and interfere with or to fiddle with the independence of the NPA, which is of course not permitted.
And Prof, look, I mean, let's extend on that point. I mean, let's look at the merits now of the judge's ruling here. He says that Abrams' appointment was as a result of abuse of power by the former president, ultimately making Abrams' appointment invalid. But can Abrams be blamed for how he was appointed, though? He did not appoint himself.
Yes, so the court also said that. It said that nobody has said that he's to blame. But the problem here is that the decision to remove or to let Mr. Nxasana go was invalid. So it is as if he had never left. So there was no vacancy. So nobody could have possibly been appointed to his position in a legal way. And so whether he is to blame or not, he was appointed to a position that didn't exist. And so his appointment was therefore also invalid.
Mm-hmm. And then, Prof, I mean, with Nxasana, of course, the judge saying that he cannot be reinstated to his former position, citing that he also benefited through the payout. What do you read in this? Because we know that Nxasana has long maintained that he was actually forced to resign. He never resigned out of his own accord. So, in a way, do you feel that Nxasana was vindicated in this case?
Well, the court was sort of, the court said two things. It first said he was clearly under a lot of pressure to resign. And when he didn't want to resign, he was offered money. So something like a bribe. He was offered money to resign. And the mistake he made was he gave in to the pressure and he took the money. He shouldn't have done that because there was no legal basis for him to have taken that money. So both the former President Zuma and Mr. Nxasana was faulted, firstly for offering the money, which should never have been offered, and then for taking the money, which should never have been taken.
And Prof, there's obviously no other way for Mr. Abrams constitutionally to appeal the decision by the highest court in the country. Poor guy.
Well, there's no, I'm not so sure if it's a poor guy, but he would never have been appointed had it not been for the illegality. So at least he had the benefit of serving as the head of the prosecuting authority for a while. But it is not something that he could have helped. He was appointed to a position that didn't exist, so he had to be let go.
Absolutely. Now, Prof, now the president has the grim task of appointing the new NDDP within the next 90 days. Let me put you on the spot. Who do you think could be up for the task? And we've also heard these calls that the power to appoint this position should actually be taken away from the president. What do you think of this suggestion?
Yes, well, the Constitution says that the president appoints. So the president must appoint. But the NPA Act also says that there are requirements. The person who is appointed must be fit and proper, must be a person of integrity, and so on. So I can't say a specific individual who must be appointed. I just think given the history of the NPA and given all the instability in the NPA, it really would be good for the criminal justice system and for the prosecution of criminals generally in South Africa if somebody is appointed who is not a party political appointee.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's somebody who is not involved in politics in any way or not involved in the struggle, but not a person who is a member or in the leadership position of a political party. I think that would be probably the best for all of us.
Absolutely. Prof, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your input there. That is Professor Pierre De Vos, a constitutional law expert, on the line to us, giving us his views on the NPA head Shaun Abrahams' Constitutional Court ruling today.